question for me because it's almost never the same, like when two people in a circle. You know what I mean? I was having a conversation with my friend the other day, and I was like, what's obvious to you? He was like, it's obvious that making art doesn't matter in a time like this when we're slowly descending into fascism. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was going to say it's been pretty hot in LA. We're always thinking about something different. Okay, we are going to be in the book of Matthew. Everyone, really just get close in here. I could see from back there for sure, but I just making sure here. I just turned 40, and I know, wow, gasps, ahs. And it does, like, almost immediately, I was like, a little bit. Okay, so we're in the book of Matthew. This is not important. Okay. As they approached Jerusalem and came to Bethphage on the Mount of Olives, Jesus sent 2 disciples, saying to them, "Go to the village ahead of you, and at once you will find a donkey tied there with her colt by her. Untie them and bring them to me. If anyone says anything to you, tell them, 'The Lord needs them,' and we will send them right away." I love that confidence. If anyone tells you anything, say, "The Lord sent me." This took place to fulfill what was spoken through the prophet. "Say to daughter Zion, see, your king comes to you gentle and riding on a donkey, and on a colt, the foal of a donkey." The disciples went and did as Jesus had instructed them. This is our classic Palm Sunday passage. This is Jesus on his way to what we know, spoiler alert, we know where he's going, okay, headed to the cross, getting back into Jerusalem, and comes in on a donkey. And here's the thing, I love this passage. I love Palm Sunday because I love this idea. I love the reality that this person who everyone was like, this is who is going to be victorious. This is our Lord. This is the Savior. This is the King. Chooses to come in gentle and on a donkey, not on a white horse, not with a sword, not with gold, not with all these things. Gentle, riding a donkey. Always, always, every time we think we have a handle on what this kingdom reality is, on how to do things, on the way we want things to see, Jesus continues to turn them upside down. And that's incredibly important for us to learn over and over and over. Because even in a season like today, I find myself like I want my team to win, and I want my team to win big. You know what I mean? I want my team to win big. In a season like this, in political turmoil, where everyone is saying, no, we have the right God, no, we have the right God, no, Caesar is Lord, no, all of these things are happening. The one that say the King of Kings comes in on a donkey, with a baby donkey next to it, okay? Not only saying, you think this one's small, look at this one, right? And it's such a beautiful picture that the way this kingdom works is not the biggest person with the biggest sword coming on the most beautiful horse in the fastest way. It's the one coming in gentle and on a donkey on his way to the cross. And so it's just a beautiful reminder that the wisdom comes to us in such unexpected ways. And Jesus comes to us in such unexpected ways. And we have a lot of traditions here at New Abbey. Just kidding. If you're like, what, do we? Almost, Corey and I were talking about this earlier, almost the only tradition we have is that I always preach on Palm Sunday, because I love Palm Sunday. And so I've preached for years, I've preached Palm Sunday messages. So every year around this time, I start thinking like, uh-oh. Okay, what else is in Palm Sunday? What can we do here? What am I thinking about? And of course, I could talk for years and years and years just about the idea that Jesus chose to ride in on a donkey, because it's a reminder to me in times of our own political turmoil how much I want someone to come in big and win and take everyone out. I don't want someone coming in on a donkey with a smaller donkey next to them, okay? But that is the way that this wisdom shows up. But then a few weeks ago, my wife and I were in Palm Springs, and we had a meeting. So my wife and I run like a very small creative agency. And by that, I mean my wife is a very talented creative, and sometimes I write some words. Okay, like you need a little copy on all the hard work you did? So we had a meeting with this woman who we had gotten connected to, who had a project, and so we got a lunch together. And she is an older lesbian woman who's been married for like 35 years and is really awesome and has done so many like things in the world. Halfway through the meeting, I was like, I don't care about like, don't hire us, just please tell me everything you know. Like very quickly, I was like, I didn't know how badly I needed to sit in front of you. And so we just started sharing stories and talking about our life and different things. And at one point, I was like, what would you say to me? Like, I'm young. I'm so young. I'm like so super young and just in need of wisdom. And I just asked her, what would you say to me? What is like one thing, like a piece of advice or wisdom or something like? And she was this like very like I'm sure she regularly goes somewhere to do ayahuasca. Like she was so like, and and what she said to me, which I was just like, I was thinking she was gonna be like, invest in this, do that, like give me the data points. And she said, we don't ask the trees nearly enough questions. I was like, I don't know if that was a word for me, but thank you. And she said that, and immediately that's not like necessarily my vibe on a daily basis. I'm not like asking trees questions, but she said that to me, and almost immediately when we got in the car, I had this thought. So right in front of our house is an oak tree, and it's a very, like, I don't know how long it's been there, but it's been there a very long time. And part of the reason I know that it is, like, there is because last year's when we had the winds and then the fires, about 5 trees on our street fell. And all the power was out, and I'll never forget that night because all of our neighbors were outside, and we were all, like, ratchet strap being, like, the trees so that they went into the street and not like back on the houses. And it was utter chaos and everyone's sort of screaming, it's dark, everything's happening, the wind's blowing, and our tree didn't even lose a branch. And I haven't even thought about that. Like in the moment I was like, oh, okay, this one's good, like let's get that one. And when this lady told me we're not asking the trees enough questions, and I was like, kooky. But then I got in the car and I thought about that tree in front of our house. And when we pulled up back to our house, I literally was like, what did it feel like to be standing while other trees were falling? Like what? And all of a sudden I had all these questions for the tree, okay? I'm like, you guys, stone cold sober, staring at this tree. And I've been thinking about that nonstop. I've been writing about it almost every morning, just wondering what that experience was like, and if that tree had wisdom for the other trees, and how do we do that, and what did it feel like, and how do you find that so how many years ago did someone plan for that tree to be planted so that it could be standing when other trees? I can't stop thinking about it. And I can't stop getting more wisdom and more questions and more thoughts and more realizations from this lady telling me we don't ask the trees enough questions. And I'm like, we really don't. And I've been thinking about this, and one of the reasons is everyone in my life, including me, feels a little bit like we are hanging on by a thread. Feels a little bit like we are really getting blown. And I was like, what would it look like to be more stable? And what would it feel like to feel secure in a way and see a friend not secure in a way? And what is something I could do in that? Or how does someone stabilize me when I'm doing this, right? And I think about this idea as we're coming into Palm Sunday, that so often the wisdom that comes to us and needs to come to us comes in such unexpected ways, and we sort of have to be willing to and open to receiving it. And then not only that, the flip to that is, I think a lot of us have wisdom that we have gained that we have to be willing and open to giving to the community around us. Sometimes I think, oh my gosh, like everything feels unprecedented. You guys know this? Like in unprecedented times, I'm like, everything can't be unprecedented. At some point, it's something precedented. And a lot of things actually are. And sometimes when I convince myself that I'm the only one having my very unique and specific experience, then no one can say anything to me that makes me feel grounded in any way. But when I remind myself that I'm a part of this larger fabric of people who are seeking wisdom and who have had experiences and things, it does really help me ground in this reality. That the wisdom comes in from every angle. I know I was joking earlier about my conversation with my friend that I had, but I really did. We were on the phone, and I said, what's obvious to you? And he said, it's obvious to me that we're on a very slow but fast descent into fascism, and making art doesn't even make sense. He's an artist. And I was like, oh, wow, yeah. it's hot here. Like, that was a real conversation we had. And then we kept talking, and then we ended up on this quote, something like it, paraphrased. By the way, I'm a person who, on phone calls, I'll take notes in my phone of like lines that stick out to me, having conversations with friends, and this is like very important to me. Again, this is all of this to say, wisdom is all around us. We have it, we share it, we get it all the time, and sometimes we're not as open to receiving it as I want us all to be, and it's really hard when we're not, right? Anyways, we ended up on this line where he said something like, people who are on the wrong side of history hate art because art reminds us we're part of a fabric and just not a thread. And I was talking about this idea where I'm like, it's more important now that you make art than when everything was going super well and you thought, wow, look at, everything's awesome and my art is awesome. That's because you have something that someone needs. You have figured out how to do something in a time where now someone's in that time and they need to how to do something. You know what I mean? Like, we are constantly exchanging this wisdom that we have experienced through our lives of the way we thought things would go and then the way they really go. I was talking to a friend the other day, and she said a couple months ago, she has 2 toddlers, okay? And she said they went out to a restaurant, and one of them just was like, just, you know how they do. And I used to be kind of judgy about that when I was younger, and none of my friends had kids, you know? And now I'm like, oh, yeah, no, you just got to let them go. I don't know. They just do that sometimes. So, you know, one of our kids is just like losing it, whatever. And she was like, it took us so much to get out of the house. She's like, I'm not leaving. I'm sitting here, I'm having my meal, and my kid's going to scream. And I was like, bold choice. I love it. You know what I mean? Do you? I wasn't there, so it's okay. And so she's having this whole thing. And then the bill comes, and her server says, oh, your bill's already been taken care of. And then she looks over. It was another table, and it was parents who were like a little bit older, and they were like, don't worry about it. Like, it goes by so fast. Like, you're going to make it. Everything's going to be okay. And bought her meal. And that's a kind of wisdom exchange that we need to be engaging with each other. Sometimes when we get so centralized and the only thing that's happening is my world and my reality, we forget that we have wisdom, that we have stood in winds that have blown other people down, that we have been blown by winds and other people stabilized us, that the wisdom in our life comes in the unexpected places. And sometimes some of us look for wisdom in the same places over and over and over and over, and it's not really helping. They're like, oh no, I feel stressed. What's going to happen in the world? Let me listen to the John Oliver podcast. Like that, you know what I mean? That's not shade to him, but I think there's other places in our life that we can be reminded that wisdom shows up, and other places that we can be giving wisdom. I just don't want to be a community that's so overwhelmed with like, things are so bad, things are going bad, that we forget that we've been somewhere that someone is before and we made it out. That we've been the kid with the crying toddler at the table, and now we can be like, I got it, it gets better. You guys remember It Gets Better? Was that Ellen? Or was that someone? Okay, I don't know. I don't know who started it. I forget. It's like the saddest thing. Every time you move to LA, the first thing you find out is Ellen's mean. And you're like, gosh, okay. But it really does get better, and some of us know that in real ways, and I do believe it's our responsibility to share that as people who have withstood something, in hopes that the people who have withstood something else will show up for us in those moments in unexpected ways. When we think we're looking for a politician to save us, or a podcast to help us, or a thing to help us, it's going to come with a donkey and a smaller donkey. It's going to be a family we don't know telling us something beautiful. It's going to be something we didn't expect, and then we have to do the same. It does sometimes feel like so long ago to me when I came out. And sometimes I get a little disconnected from the feelings of feeling like everything in my world is going to change, or how scary it was, or how just much it sent me like through such a spiral, or how the relationships in my life all change, or all those things. And then I get to have a conversation with someone, and I get to say, oh my gosh, yes, I remember that feeling. And you can make it through that. You can make it through that. It does get better. It got better. Here are some things that helped me. Here are some ways I can do that. Or I can just send them, here's a book here's all the things that helped me. And then as I sit in front of this woman and I'm like, oh my gosh, you have all these things, you've made it through this season of life that I'm in right now, and tell me all these things. And she says something really kind of like, ooh, talk to the trees. I'm like, okay, maybe. And then it turns out there was a lot for me in the trees. This idea of wisdom, I just don't think it comes in the way that we expect it. And I think we need to be a little more responsible to each other by sharing it as often as we can. Let's decenter the present moment a little bit. And to remember that we are part of a larger fabric, that we have experienced things and gained wisdom that the people around us need, and that we still need so much wisdom from the people around us. This isn't a me gotta pick myself up by my bootstraps and I'll figure it out, and this is unprecedented times and no one knows what it feels like to be me, and no one's ever lived through this and no one's ever been through this. There are people who have. And there are people who need the wisdom that you've experienced. We're not showing up righteous on a horse with a sword. We're showing up gentle and on donkeys, sharing our wisdom with one another. And that's beautiful. And that's different than what's happening around us. My dream for this community isn't that we have all the right answers or we know exactly what to say and we're like, here's our doctrine, here's our this, everything is right. My dream for this community is that we get to say like, oh, yes, I was in that experience. I would love to sit with you now. Hey, has anyone ever experienced this? I need some wisdom. Hey, we're going through this. Hey, I noticed that. Hey, I saw that. Hey, we're just sharing this wisdom in a way that we didn't know. The people who are going to come into our lives and remind us of this aren't the like big, loud horse sword. It's the people in this room. It's our community. It's a reminder that we are a part of a fabric and not just a thread. That not only we get to do this together, we have to do this together. I think that's the only way that it will work. And so with that, you're going to grab the same 3 or 4 people around you and answer this question. A very small question. So small. Where can you look for wisdom this week? Enjoy.